work hard and put it in. Where's Buckle gone?
Thank you very much for joining us on another episode of In the Town where I was born, where we have been joined by our brilliant physio, Gemma. Gemma, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So in the same vein as what we did with Ella, we're just going to have a little chat, see how you ended up at Linnets, and maybe have a little sort of in-depth look at women in football. So as we said with Ella at the very beginning, as a child, did you play any sports? Were you a football kind of girl?
I was involved in sport like throughout my life pretty much, but not really team sports. So I played the odd game of football for like primary school, but other than that, no real commitments. But a lot of my life I've done individual sports, so like athletics I did up until the age of like 16, and then I've always had horses. Like horses have been a massive influence in my life, so pretty different to what I'm doing now.
Yeah, very different.
So Gemma, how did it all start for you with physioing, and then how did you end up at the Linnets?
Well, leading on from when I was doing athletics, at around the age of about 15, my events were like 100, 200 and high jump. And I remember I was at a competition doing high jump and I actually dislocated my collarbone. So it set me out for about 8 weeks whilst I was recovering. And I had like, obviously bouts of physio. And I was like, actually, this is something I could probably want to like do because it involves like sport and obviously recovering athletes, which I was really interested in. So I pursued it since then. And the rest is history. This is why I'm here.
Yeah, and then coming into Linnets, how did you get here?
So it was through a friend of mine and a friend of Cross's. He was working with Crossy on a placement, and Crossy just so happened to mention like, you don't know any physios, do you? And actually I know one that's just graduated. So we got into contact, and I remember like coming down to the Millbank when it was like the old stadium and meeting Crossy outside, and it was a really informal interview. It was kind of like, he asked me what I'd done, had I qualified, had I worked in sport, and I was like, yeah. Watched me like assess a player and recommend a treatment, and he was like, "You've got the job. Like, can you start ASAP?"
I think Bucco's got from when it all began. When
Yeah, Gemma joined the club on the 5th of August 2017.
Oh my God.
Home win against Hemsworth, 2-0. Hemsworth miners welfare. And Gemma's been with us 137 games. Absolutely. And we reckon she's been on the pitch 411 times since she joined. The players she's attended to the most are Kyle Hamid, 52, Paul Shanley, 48, Simo, 38, and Mark Horto, 36. Also Kurt Sherlock, 31. They have been all inside, they've not been on the pitch. They've been on the treatment table. So 137 games.
Can't believe it, it's mad.
that's a lot of games, a lot of time on the pitch.
Yeah, it seems like it's just gone so quick though. Like, I've never really thought about how many games I'd done.
Yeah, we had it with Ella as well, where we were talking about how many games he'd been in charge, and we were just shocked that now he's our longest serving manager.
Yeah.
And hopefully he'll go on to double or triple the amount he's been here.
Absolutely.
So is this physio going to be a career, or as you said before, is it an interest that you're just exploring?
So originally, when I was doing my degree, I was all about just staying in the role of like physio in sport. And it was only when I kind of went into my final year, which is our placement year, you actually go out, you do bits, and I love my physio, but I was working alongside a club doctor as well. And that's when I started to take the route more down medicine, but staying in sport. Like, he had such a massive impact because basically the top of the pack, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The physios come to them, they make all the decisions regarding like all aspects of health, so like mental health, physical health, like they order the investigations, get players back to where they need to be. So that was what I went with. So I obviously got my degree and then pushed further on into my masters, and that's where I'm hoping to get to. So I will stay in sport, definitely.
Yeah.
So Gemma, how do you feel about the growth and promotion of women in the game? Like, there's more female pundits, there's women in the boardroom. How do you think about that's going at the moment?
I mean, I think it's brilliant because obviously football, along with many other sports like rugby and things like that, is a real male-dominated environment, and it can be quite tricky for females to kind of get in and work their way up. But it's nice to see that it's almost been normalised now, so you can go on, like, you can watch Match of the Day or whatever and see these pundits on. So it is really nice to see, and it's refreshing for obviously girls that are maybe starting their careers and starting their degrees knowing that they can actually get up there, whereas maybe 20, 30 years ago you were frowned upon and you know, it wasn't really a thing. So obviously I think it's brilliant in all aspects.
Yeah, I think we were talking before about the growth and stuff, and I think yesterday they had the Women's League Cup final live on BT Sport, which is something 5-10 years ago you probably never would have thought would happen, that
Exactly.
Even a game would be on the telly, never mind a game of that magnitude.
Yeah, I do think it's good. Even seeing at this level, like when we've got like female lineswomen, I just think it's so nice to see. It adds kind of like slightly a different view, because obviously we're opposite sexes, but we can still work well and make the game, you know, good and enjoyable. Yeah,
and as you said there, obviously it is quite a male-dominated sport. Have you faced any adversity being a female in a male-dominated world, really?
I mean, you could ask any female physio, massage, like masseuse, anything like that, and they would all probably say yeah. We all get kind of snide jokes and just sort of comments that are just a little bit below the belt. And a lot of it I just take with, you know, I just laugh. But there's some things that you kind of have to think about and think, actually, am I actually kind of just allowing it by laughing and not actually pulling people up on it? Don't get me wrong, I'll take banter, the boys give me banter, I give it them back. It's kind of one of them, it's the relationship that I have with them. But there is a line, and I just think all people need to remember is that, you know, all these like women that are working in sport now, they're someone's daughter, they're someone's, you know, like sister. Just be careful what you would say, and if you would say what you were going to say to a male, then obviously it's fine. Like,
yeah.
But yeah, I'd say the good side, obviously, massively outweighs the snide comments you get every now and then. And a lot of the time, the people around you will actually pull them up before you need to. So it's a really small minority. So.
Yeah, and I think we've got such a tight knit club, and especially a team. I know from talking to the players how well respected you are.
Yeah, they are brilliant.
I know there's people. I was going to say we won't mention names, but people like Shanners, who you probably stick him together most weeks so he can get out there. So he's gonna need that respect, and it's great because we've had players who in the past have been out with injuries that they've been kept them out for 3 or 4 months, and it's now that they're getting a good level of constant treatment. It's nice to see them coming back. I think Simo's the probably one of the main ones. He seems like he plays 1 and misses 5, but it's such a shame that's how it is at the moment.
I know it is, but you know, like you said, we are a close-knit sort of team, and I do reach out to all of them and just make sure that you know they're all right. Even because obviously being injured, it can not only physically injured, it can you can be quite low, and it's important to touch bases with them and just let people know that they can still come, still join in, even though you're not training as such. It's just being with the team because it's important. Definitely.
Yeah, because your job's just not just on a Saturday when someone goes down on the pitch. I know you're there on a Thursday if people need just a recovery session or a massage or something like that. What would be the sort of day-to-day kind of if you were turning up on a match day?
Yeah.
Well, how's your setup?
So match day, probably arrive at about 1:20. The players like filter in, and they're all normally there by 1:30. The time between 1:30 and 2, I get the bulk of the stuff, like my stuff done. So anyone needs ankle strapping, they're done. Anyone needs any sort of pre-match like rubs or anything like that, they're done. Anyone's got a little niggle and need me to have a look at, they're done. Anyone who's kind of umming and ahhing, or LO's a bit like, are they fit, are they not? We'll do our pre-match fitness and we can take it from there. Past 2 o'clock, obviously, I'm so lucky that I've got a management team that are willing to put forward whatever I want, so that I don't have to physically go outside and do a warm-up program with them, because I can go to Crossy and say, look, I want to add this and this and this, and he just does it, which means it takes a weight off my shoulders, because anyone that isn't playing but is injured, I can treat them after all the first team players are out, kind of thing. So people with long-term injuries, just catching up with how they are and reassessing. Checking through all my equipment, because my bag is basically my tool when I'm out there. So making sure that I've got tapes, making sure I've got like basic things like vapor rub, which I didn't know when I very first started that players rely on. So I've always stocked up on that. Deep heat, literally my bag smells of it. making sure I've got enough gloves, things like that, and then checking like the most important piece of equipment that I have, and that's my defib. I check that every single game, home or away, because I need that to work with like whatever the circumstances are. And then just double checking that everything's in place. So like my stretcher's out, which Slash is really good. He takes all my equipment, like my neck brace, everything. And then my time seems to go, and then they're back in, and then anything that needs like any attention we'll do in the last 15, and then they go out and the match starts.
Yeah. Is there any sort of regulars that will come in, even if just for a bit of a boost before they go out on the pitch?
There's a couple. So there's like 2 schools of thought on pre-match massage. Some people think that it doesn't really benefit, and some people think that it does. I'm in the mindset of, if you feel it benefits you, I will do it for you, you know, kind of thing. There is a couple. Some people love to be on the bed, they just love a massage. But yeah, I just think it's 2 minutes on each leg. It's quick, it's fast, just gets the blood flowing. Get them out there, why not?
Yeah.
So there is a couple, but most of them are good. Yeah.
So just touching on something you said before, do you see yourself as like in charge of player welfare?
Definitely, because I've got to consider the player, their injury, and obviously how they are overall. So ask any player, get any player on here. They hate being injured, they hate being out. They want to get back as soon as they can, and I understand it. Obviously, it's the love of the game, and you know they want to be in the team and in the winning team. So I've got to consider that, but I've also got to consider the fact that if I send them out early and give them the go-ahead to go out, are they going to actually take a step back and re-injure themselves? Now, when they feel like they're fit and I say no, not quite, I always thought, I was worried that I'd get a bit of like friction and maybe they wouldn't come to me and wouldn't be completely honest. But I know that I'll go to them and I'll say, look, this is my reasons. Like they'll be fit for in 2 weeks, and I think they'll be better if you just leave them. And once I explain to them, they're actually pretty switched on, because I'm like, if I send you now, you might get re-injured, or it might set you back 2 weeks, so is it really worth it? And more like, honestly, all of them, they're so good. If I say, no, you're not playing this week, they're like, right. They just do as they're told, which is really, you know, I'm lucky that they're such good lads like that.
Yeah, no, we had a little chat with Ella at the very end about the current squad and sort of a couple of little quick fire questions. So we'll throw some at you on the sort of player side. So
okay.
Would you say, you don't have to mention names, but it's all for a bit of fun. Right. Would you say there's anyone who maybe pulls an injury a little bit longer than it needed?
100%. Paul Shanley. Everyone knows. Definitely. Not so much in training, definitely in matches. He's on the floor for like 5 minutes and I'm like, do you want me on? Do you not? And half the time I don't even stand up when he's on the floor, which he sounds really bad for. He just saves my legs. So yeah, Paul Shanley, 100%.
Yeah, because I know I've heard a couple of the Premier League players say like sometimes there'll be a couple of minutes left, they'll go down, the physio will get to him and they'll just say, there's nothing wrong with me, I'm just sat down. Does that happen even at this level?
100%, yeah, like, just make it look like you're doing something. I'm like, okay, this is what I went to uni for.
So you've got to run a full length of the pitch, get over there, and then nothing's actually...
It's never near the dugout, it's always on the opposite side of the pitch, and then I've got to run all the way back round, yeah.
Who's the biggest moaner?
Probably say Kyle Hamid. Like, he'll kill me for that, but he's always like, if he's not moaning about me and my treatment or it's not working, he's moaning about the weather, if it's cold, something like that. So I'd probably say Kyle, yeah.
We said on the pre-game before the Pickering game about he came out and then he looked like he looked like it was in Siberia. He had a snood on, his hood pulled down.
Yeah.
Because I said I think it's muckle, but I can't really be sure.
We weren't too sure, were we?
What's your actual title? Job title?
Head sport rehabilitator at the minute.
Yeah.
Sounds a bit better than us just going physio, doesn't it?
Thought I'd get that one in there.
Yeah, because a full title's better than this just trying to make one up. Well, Gemma, thank you very much for joining us. It's been a real pleasure. I know we're trying to, especially this month, really push sort of women in football as we've spoken, and it's been a pleasure to have you on. Hopefully, we won't. Seeing you less is a good thing.
Yeah, definitely.
So the less, hopefully, we won't see you till the end of the season.
Hopefully, fingers crossed.
And hopefully, at the end of it, we can get in that position that we really want.
Yeah.
Thanks for the insight into sports rehabilitation.
Yeah.
Oh, lovely. Thank you for
No
having
worries.
me on.
Thanks a lot for joining us, Gemma.
Cheers. Thank you.